Hello everyone, my name is Bhaskar and today I want to talk to you about time travel. Nah, this is nothing to do with jumping in a DeLorean and going back into 1985 to try to save the civilization. Nah, this is nothing like that. This is just a system that I have built for myself, taking a few inputs from here and there, picking and choosing, that makes me, that tells me what I did 10 days ago, how I was feeling 15 days ago, what my day looked like 45 days ago. See, it's one form of time travel, right? Why I want to do this is very important. We keep track of our money, we keep track of our bank balance. You go to your net banking account, you go to your internet banking account, you open it up and you can tell, you can look at your account statement and you can say, okay, 3 months ago I had this much money in my account, and that is very important. But can you tell with the same certainty what you did 3 months ago to this very date? You can't, right? And I find that crazy. Why? Because money comes and goes, but time, you won't get it back, right? So I have my own time tracking system, and why I'm very why I'm so obsessed about tracking time is that if you don't track something, you can't measure something, and you can't get the benefits out of it. So this is what I do. I have an app called Rescue Time. If you don't, it's a free app. You can install it on your computer, you can install it on your browser, you can install it on your phone, and it will basically track everything that you do. It will divide your time into productive, very productive, neutral, distracting and very distracting categories, 5 categories, and it's going to track, it'll automatically put things like if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can put it on very distracting or distracting category. If you are on Google Docs or working on Microsoft Word, it will put it on very productive category. You know how, and you can set all of those things. So it'll track the time, and every night it sends a report. It actually sends a report every week, but I have set it in such a way that it sends a report every day to a Google Sheet that I have hooked with IFTTT. I have used an IFTTT recipe, if this then that. So it's also a free thing. You pull data from the rescue time dashboard just before midnight, and then it sends to a Google Sheet automatically. So what it tells me is every time I can check the Google Sheet and I can tell it tells me, okay, today this was this much, today it was 3 hours productive time, 2.5 hours of distracting time, I spent this much time on utilities, I spent this much time on social networking, this much time on calls. All of those things are already there. And this is so good because you can go back and you can see, okay, this is what I did 4 days ago, or for a period of 10 days I have been spending more time watching, entertaining myself, or spending more time on social media, and now it's time to get back to work. You can look at the trend of your days and the time you spend, and it's a very good snapshot. But I didn't step there. I was listening to this interview that Tim Ferriss did with Jim Collins. Jim Collins, I didn't know about him, but turns out that he is a pretty smart guy. Tim Collins, he's one of the polymaths. So he is a world famous, accomplished author. He has done a lot of writing on systems, things like books like Good to Great. Look him up. He is amazing, and amazingly smart guy. Very curious, very strong credentials, one of the prime thinkers in our right now. So he has a personal tracking system that I really loved when I listened to that interview. And this is what he does. He has a spreadsheet where he has 3 columns. The first column is where he describes how his day went. He just writes down, I did 2 hours of productive work, I wrote this today, I worked on something, I worked on a book, I met people, I went on a rock climbing. He is a very avid rock climber. So he writes down a description of what he did during the day in one column. In the second column, he notes down how many productive hours he had. So this is his own, from what I understood, This is his own estimation of productive work. Now it will be off, obviously. You can't say you work for 2 hours 23 minutes, whereas he'll probably just write 2 hours. And this is what I do too. I'd say I wrote 2 hours or 3 hours, and just a bare estimate of time. I don't care about this because I already have the data on rescue time, which will tell me exactly to the very minute how much time did I spend on a particular uh, task, on a particular productive task. And the third column that he has is about his mental state. It's very qualitative, and he basically, on a scale from -2, where it's absolutely useless, very sad, very hopeless, to +2, where things were actually going very great. He rates his day from -2 to +2, and I did that too. So I have these two worksheets and sheets, and I put them on the same Google Sheet. So multiple tabs, right? The first tab has rescue time, the quantitative data, and the second tab has qualitative data. So now I know, and I update this thing every night just before I go to bed, because it takes only about a couple of minutes to write up these things, and you can write it on your mobile if you want to. It's nothing fancy, nothing exciting. Now what I do is I can go back 10 days, and I can see how much time I spend in something. What what I actually did, the rescue time will tell you that you spend this much, you spend 2 hours 33 minutes in productive work. But I look at my own notings, and I'll be able to say, okay, I wrote this particular series of emails. I wrote this particular draft for my blog. So I can tell in very great detail, and I can also say that, okay, this many hours was creative, which I get also from rescue time, and what I felt, more importantly. So what it all does is it helps me track my the time I spend. It helps me track my emotional state, and I can see, okay, these are the kind of things that I can do to make myself more happy. These are the kind of things that I do that has a great effect on my future days. So I would want you to implement this, because you can really go back 2-3 months later and look at the spreadsheets and look at the numbers, and you can say that, okay, fine, this is how my days went. So this is what I was doing right, this is what I was doing wrong, and then that will help you plan out your day better. So I hope you implement this spreadsheet. It's absolutely simple to do, and I'll put the link of the Tim Ferriss interview that Jim Collins did, sorry, and that way you can get an idea of what exactly he meant when he said that. So I hope this is of value to you. I'll see you soon.